Okay, so we are working on chapter 6, lesson 4 for percent of change. So the last couple days we are finding the percent of change, but now we're going to use the percent of change. So if given percent of change, you can find the amount of change. So this is just opposite from yesterday. So the t-shirt factory printed 250 shirts last year. The percent increase this year is 100, so it's a percent increase. It's 120%. How many t-shirts were printed this year? First step is to find the amount of change. You write 120% as a decimal. So I just move the decimal place over 2 places. So I have 1.2, and you can keep the 0 there if you want, or you can get rid of the 0. Our formula is percent change equals, and this is what we did the last couple days, the amount of change over the original amount. So if we really want to find the amount of change, let's just not look at this real quick. I'm just going to use some letters. I'm going to say percent equals amount over original. How would I solve for A? How do I solve for A if it was an equation? Well, do what? Multiply by what? The O, yeah. Multiply the original on both sides. Those cancel each other out. And I might switch that around again. So that means I'm going to have the percent of change times the original equals my amount of change. So that's what it's kind of saying down here. So percent change times original amount will equal the amount of change. So the percent of change was 120%, but you always write it as a decimal. So I write 1.2. I'm going to just keep the 0. So you know that came from 120. Times the original amount. The original amount of shirts, 250. So then I just put this in my calculator. 1.2 times 250, which would be 300. So that is the amount of change. Okay, that's the amount of change. But is that how many t-shirts I actually printed? This is how much it changed. So what to find the new amount, you take the original amount. Oh, thank you. You take the original amount plus the amount of change. So then to find my new amount, the original amount was 250 t-shirts, plus how much did it change? 300, to equal a total of 550. So up in this box, How many t-shirts were printed this year? You take 550. Now, if you're like me, I'm not gonna turn the page yet. If you're like me, looking at all these big boxes kinda gets a little overwhelming, that I know step one, to find them out, write 120% as a decimal. I really don't have to write that down, because anytime I know that I'm working with percents, you change the percent to a decimal. So for me, I'm just going to say, percent, or you know what, I'm gonna do percent change times OA, which is the original amount, equals amount of change. Then I'm going to say original amount plus amount change equals new. So here you're really only doing two steps. You're taking the percent change times the original amount, bless you, equals your actual, or the amount of change. So then the original amount plus the amount of change equals your new cost. So let's go ahead and turn the page and do an example here. The average price for gas for the year 2000 is $1.51 per gallon. In 2019, the average price per gallon increased 83%. What was the average price per gallon in 2019? Okay. Don't let the years mess you up. What is the first thing I need to do? Go ahead. Change your percent to decimal. So we're gonna have the percent change first. So I've got 0.83 times my original amount. What's the original amount? The only other amount we have there. $1.51. So then I'm going to put that in my calculator. I'm going to put 0.83 times 1.51 equals 1.2533. I'm leaving that hole there right now. So let's round that up to about $1.25. That is the amount, or the percent change, or the amount of change, because this was the percent, this is the amount that it changed. So now what do I do with my original amount and this amount? What do I do with them? Add. So then I'm going to show $1.51 plus $1 or $1.20